Welcome back, everyone. This is the Scholar Rob, and I'm here with Nate the Fool. This is Bitch I Ain't Scared for the last week of November. How are you, Nate?
I'm fantastic.
Awesome.
Yes. I didn't enjoy Thanksgiving. I was sick. And it wasn't because I ate too much. I had one plate, but I was already feeling bad, so I don't know what that was about. So I probably lost like 10 pounds, and I don't need to.
Anything good happen on Thanksgiving aside from the sickness?
I watched Deep Blue Sea.
How was the food?
The food was great.
There we go.
I had little tiny bits of it.
What'd you have?
I had macaroni and cheese and ham and Hawaiian rolls and these dry-ass carrots that I made. They didn't work out, unfortunately. So, yeah, it was great. I had some vodka and juice. You know, it didn't quite affect me. So, I don't know. I drank beer the other day, though, and that did the trick. It sure did. So I don't know what that's about. How was your Thanksgiving?
Mine was cool. I just spent it with some friends and had some food, lots and lots of dessert, just played games all day, and yeah, it was a very chill night, which is how I like it. So I got what I wanted.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we are doing TV today. And back when this whole show started, I think it was episode 3, we talked about shows that we didn't like, ones that failed to meet our horror criteria. And today, at episode 30, we are going to talk about the ones that did succeed in our hearts.
Did you say dick succeed?
No. Did succeed. I kind of mixed those two words up. But there are plenty of horror TV from the past as well as the present that did very well. And I love TV just as much as movies. So, I thought we'd have some fun talking about some good horror television. But first, speaking of TV, I went to the movies over the weekend. And during my show, I saw 2 TV celebrities in my theater. One of them was Jack Falahy from How to Get Away with Murder.
Mm-hmm.
And the other was Rachel Harris, who is currently on Lucifer. She plays the psychiatrist. Blonde woman. She's awesome. Look her up. She's amazing. She's in a ton of stuff, mostly comedy stuff, but yeah, she's a definite regular on the show. And both of them came as a huge surprise. Nobody was crowding them or anything like that. Everybody was just going to the movies, doing their own thing. And I saw him before the show started, and I saw Rachel Harris after the show. And I was just like, oh my God, so many people here.
Is she Australian?
I don't think so.
Was she the one on 666 Park Avenue?
I don't think so. If she was, I definitely don't remember her.
I mean, the lead.
Oh, no,
Okay.
that is not her.
Then
No.
that's not who I'm thinking of. Her
No.
name is Rachel something. But
Okay. Nope, we're looking her up. She was on The Hangover. She played, the mean wife. The one who was just bossy as hell.
her.
Yeah.
I don't remember her last name. That's funny.
Okay, yeah. So they were both there. And yeah, aside from the movie being really good, it was such a pleasure to see those two. So I was like, yep, got my celebrity quota for the week.
Neat.
Yeah.
So, since we're talking about TV, I took it upon myself to just see if there was something coming up, because last week they released a bunch of pictures and a little teaser for the TV adaptation of A Discovery of Witches, something we've discussed previously.
They did.
They did.
How they look?
It looks good.
Okay.
Looks good. And it's going to be on the Sky One channel, which is...
Gay.
What? It's gay.
No, I said okay.
Oh, I said gay. I was like, it's
No.
a gay network? I don't know.
No.
I think it's like, it's a British, Irish channel, but, you know, digital, you'll still have access to it. But yeah, it looks good. Matthew Good doesn't have a shirt on. great. Fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that.
Did they give a date?
Oh, I'm sure they did, but I didn't. I didn't look at that. But it's like they're putting all this stuff out. They're hyping it up, so they're getting ready to put it out.
Okay.
Three things that have been like they're in pre-production, or at least one of them was announced. So I think you mentioned this, Wayward Sisters. It is
maybe
the spin-off from Supernatural.
Oh, yes.
So
Wayward Sisters. Okay.
That sounds pretty dope.
Doesn't it, though?
I'm looking forward to that.
And here's the thing, because you don't watch the show currently, so it's just like the chemistry between those women, especially the woman like who's leading it. I love her character. They bring her back. They always find a reason because she's brilliant.
I remember Jodie. It's funny because I looked at that and I was like, oh yeah, I actually do remember her character. So it hasn't been too long for me to forget about her.
Yeah.
They're doing Constantine again. They've just announced this, but it's going to be an animated series.
Okay.
So I'm for that. I think that'll be cool. And one other thing, they are adapting Lock and Key, which is a graphic novel, and it's about a family that they have this house where there's like another dimension, and back in the day, they open the dimension and demons live in the other dimension, but they can't come through. If they try to come through the portal, they'll turn to metal. So then they use the metal that the demons are made of to make a key and a lock, and they lock the door and seal the portal. But some little asshole kids come along, and of course they open it, and then a demon gets out and possesses someone, and shenanigans. So I'm looking forward to it.
This is live action?
It's live action. It's going to be on Hulu. So that's
Hulu.
in pre-production right now.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
Super excited.
I'll keep a lookout for those. I'm sure I'll see some advertisement. I watch Hulu like crazy, so I'll see something. That's awesome. Good research.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about some horror television. First thing that we should talk about is what makes a good horror TV show. I mean, horror most of the time is at its best when it's rated R and inappropriate and can't be watched on primetime TV. What makes a good one?
I would counter that by saying that they put shows on Showtime and HBO with horror elements, and they're not always great. And I don't even think they're as good as some of the stuff that they put on network television.
So this would be an interesting answer then. What makes good TV then for horror?
Well, a good example of, I think, great horror TV would be the beginning of Supernatural. And I'm not knocking it now. I just haven't watched it because it's like it's gone on so long. But that beginning, it's like it wasn't R-rated. Sure, they're a little racy sometimes, and stuff happens.
Well,
it's violent, but it's not super, super gory to the heights of HBO. And there's no naked women. There's no gratuitous sex. So you can tell a story without completely going there. You can definitely scare people without completely going there. Supernatural scared me plenty of times.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely did it for me without them being super ridiculous. And they're not, they even, the episode where they like did the reality show and they were cussing, but they would beep it out. It's brilliant.
They're awesome.
And they have a lot of comedy going, but, I think when you use that format, it doesn't have to be R-rated. There's, like I said, there's shows that just kind of probably bank on it being successful because it's going to be more for horror fans and it's really, really super violent. But it's like, you have to tell a good story still. That's what it goes back to. Around the campfire, people telling stories, and how can you keep my attention? Are you a compelling storyteller? Is it good writing? Is it good acting? That's usually what will keep me interested. And nowadays, we've gotten into the realm of visual effects, and, even on TV, visuals are really good. Sometimes they're not. But usually, they've stepped their game up to it being like cinema quality, because it's just with the times. So yeah, if you can put some compelling ghost story on TV, I'll watch it. I don't need you to drop an F-bomb just
Yeah.
because I do it.
Yeah, I would like a little bit of suspense with my horror TV. It doesn't have to be throughout the entire series, but if you can keep me on the edge of my seat at least one moment within every episode, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, but it doesn't need to be full out scary. I think TV has a different responsibility than a horror movie because it's an expanded story. It's stretched out after how long. They have to keep us interested. And it can't be, a whole bunch of jump scares every week because that's going to get stale. And it really depends how long they want the series to last versus a mini series where it's only one season or something like that. So yeah, just a little scares, but to me, the most important thing for a horror television show is have horror elements in it. Have it be about the supernatural, if any.
Yeah.
Or, it doesn't necessarily even have to have like death in it. But again, what's scarier than death almost? So it's like, obviously it's got to separate itself from being a drama or something like that. Thrillers are fine. There was this show that got canceled. So mad. Stalker with
On
Maggie
MTV?
Q. Yeah, it was with Maggie Q. That was like CSI and all those other cop, drama shows, except they were part of a specific stalking department. Like that's all they invested in was stalking. And every episode, some creepy dudes in the bushes in the woods looking through a window or something. That crap was creepy as shit. And yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Not everybody, nobody, like somebody didn't die every episode, and it still was compelling. So yeah, a good story would be amazing. So
I would say somebody dies at least once in every supernatural episode.
yeah, no, yeah,
that's
the
usually what
very
kicks it
beginning
off.
is how it does. So
Usually.
yeah. Okay. Well, with that said, then name some favorite shows that you'd like to highlight today.
I will do this as a combo because they're linked forever. Buffy and Angel. That was probably the beginning for me. I mean, I'd watched Goosebumps right before that, but I didn't really get into the show. I love the books. The show didn't do it for me. And I even resisted Buffy for a long time because I was like, she's a cheerleader. This is stupid. I don't want to watch it. And then I watched it and I loved it. So naturally, I was going to watch Angel. And man, those were just some really great shows. And I think a testament to Joss Whedon's perseverance for making a movie that he was not happy with and saying, you know what? I want to tell this story the way that I wanted it to be told. I'm going to do it. So it's nice seeing something rise from the ashes and be successful. The show was really funny. It wasn't scary like Supernatural. I don't think it never scared me. I can't say. I'm trying to think if anything ever scared me, but it was a different time where, that you could see the makeup and the visual effects were pretty not as strong. So I still loved it. I loved the writing. It was probably the characters that really did it for me. You came back every week to see these characters and listen to Cordelia not give a shit. And, Buffy, her little quick one-liners. I mean, they were just, it was different. It was a very different experience versus being with old men who were hunting down Dracula. So it was just a lot of fun. And then Angel was a different show. Sometimes it was different because Angel was not Buffy. He was not happy and quirky and saying quick little snippy lines. But even they gave that side to him. It was a little hard to accept sometimes at first. Angel's, he's a depressed, brooding guy. that's where we take him. But it still worked. It was still fun. It was just a really good universe to enjoy.
Yeah, the growth of that show and its characters is beyond impressive. It is one of those shows where I kind of grew up with them. Their, evolve, my evolve. Like, it was so crazy how connected I was to that show, for one. And also the fact I'm patting myself on the back for actually giving the show a chance because of the failure of the movie. Most people would just reject it immediately because the movie failed. And this is why if a movie sucks and they come out with a sequel, I'm still going to watch it, because you never know how well they can improve from before. And this show is a testament to that. So I praise Buffy for that. Also, because of the fact that I love horror so much, they still kept it relatable to everything that's going on and made it scary. They just used like this blind of like this horror stuff over issues that happen in high school and all that stuff every single day. So whether it's scary or not, it's like a Romero movie. He used horror to get that message out there.
Yeah.
Of course, Hush is like one of the scariest episodes of that series, in my opinion. There were at least 2 jump scares that got me, but just the look of the gentleman were amazing. And I can't remember his name right now, but there was a vampire, I think it was in season 5, or maybe it was 4, I can't remember. There was this guy. I think he was part of the test. Do you remember when Buffy went through a test
where they took away her strength?
I think so.
That was in season 3.
3? So, but there was this vampire guy who was like strong as shit. And I think he had like a drug thing going on. Like there was this drug pen, and I'm thinking of 2 other things. He was in both episodes. That's what it was. I'll have to look it up. There was a moment where he is at Buffy's house, and Joyce comes home, and she thinks it's Buffy, and he turns around and he has like this wig on, pretending it's her or pretending to be a doll. I don't know. It was weird. And he turns around and he says, "Mother," and then it just went to commercial. And that was like one of the scariest moments. For me, I wish I could be more specific.
I think I remember it, but
the vampire was super scary, and again, he had some kind of link to Buffy, but I think it was when her powers were taken and she had to defeat this vampire to prove her, can she really be the Slayer, And Giles knew about it and all that stuff, and then her mom got involved, so I think it, created a tiff or whatever. But yeah, that was one of the scariest moments on there. But yeah, mostly on the comedic side, but it does have some moments. So yeah, I agree with you. Buffy is
very human moments. And I think all the high school stuff, it was like it didn't affect me as deeply. But when I got to season 4, I revisited it because I didn't watch it when it was on TV. For some reason, I didn't watch TV that year. I don't know. I was a kid doing something. But then I went to college and I decided to revisit it. I think I've talked about this, and I was mind blown. Like, this is so relatable. This demon is trying to kill her in her sleep. That is what my roommate is doing. It's like, my room is not really trying to kill me in my sleep, but oh God, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything that she went through, it was always on a high school level or a girl growing up, and you don't have to be a girl to relate to that. I mean, you're a teenager at some point, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, Angel was more mature.
Yeah, I mean, obviously dealt with the corporate world and life after school and just living and yeah.
I think that was my first example of a crossover.
Oh, really?
TV crossover where the characters would, appear. Yeah. I don't know if there was something before that.
I would have to look that up. I'm sure there might have been something. Didn't the X-Files Lone Men come before that? I can't
I didn't
remember.
see that show.
But I mean, but you know what I'm talking
I'm saying
about, though.
this was the first one that I saw, though.
Oh, that you saw. Okay.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
might have
know
been
if
things on before, but I never saw them,
Oh,
and I
okay.
never saw Lone Man.
Oh, okay.
What
I
is-
watched
what
it.
is
I thought
that?
it was fun. Well, it was Lone Man was the Lone Gunman, I think it was called. There were 3 characters. Okay, so you remember in like Supernatural, those ghost hunters, and I don't know. Did you get that far in the series?
Oh, you mean the reality show?
Yeah, the
guys?
reality
Yeah.
show. So it was kind of like that. There were these 3 guys that, Mulder and Scully would kind of go to for a little bit of help. And there was these 3 friends. They were kind of bumbling idiots, but they had their own sort of skill in the paranormal. And so they would utilize them ever so often. But when they would be on, they would be a hoot. So they gave them their own show. But unfortunately, it failed. So
I never heard of this.
Oh, yeah. I liked it. I thought it was
cool.
a fun show. So, yeah, I'm going to go a little back to, and let's see. There's a show called Fear Itself.
I loved that show.
So this was a 1 season run. It was an anthology, and I'm probably going to bring up a couple of anthologies here. But, yeah, it was an anthology series. It was sort of in the same vein as Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, etc. But Fear Itself was all original stories. They usually were about an hour long, so they really got into the characters and the story and background and everything, and they were so creative. One of the big advertisement was this guy who was stuck in jail, and he sort of had this sort of prophetic vision or fate that all of these people were going to die tonight. And this woman who had to kind of prove herself to her precinct needed to do an overnight shift, and the guy got out and he was messing with everybody, and it was just some scary shit. The guy that was in jail, like, kudos to him, he pulled off a phenomenal job. They had great makeup, but some of the other stories that they did had really good twist in it. The bad guy sometimes was the good guy. There was always some deeper layer in the show, and they had some up-and-coming stars in it that were either currently popular on other shows or ones that we were kind of, learning about. One episode that comes to mind is Cheryl Appleby from Roswell and Brandon Roth. They were both a married couple moving into this community where they had very strict rules, and if you didn't follow them, yeah, I really enjoy that show. I think it was a 13-episode run. I don't know if they aired them all.
See, I don't remember them airing. I thought it was like a Canadian TV show.
Okay. No, this was on NBC.
I never saw it.
Oh, my God.
But I didn't have TV. I saw it on Netflix. I didn't watch it on TV.
Gotcha.
So when I saw it on Netflix, I'm like, I have never heard of this, but let me check it out. And so glad
good.
I did.
Do you remember the one about the sort of infection that was going on, and it was turning everybody into these like disgusting looking, sort of like zombie looking people, and the survivors had to kind of get away? And it revolved around this girl. I think she was kind of running around with her boyfriend, but they had a hard time figuring out who was sick and who wasn't. And it turned out that the ones who thought were normal were actually the ones who were infected. And what they were seeing, it was just sort of the opposite.
You're talking about the girl who was in Sorority Row?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a zombie episode.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I love the little spin on that, and that's the thing about Fear Itself. It was very creative, especially for NBC. I thought they did an amazing job with this show, and for some reason, it just didn't become popular, so they canceled it. I don't know if anthology was really popular back then. They kept trying to revive Twilight Zone a couple times, and it just didn't work.
I think they're still going to do it.
Yeah, The Outer Limits and everything like that. I don't know if we were just burnt out or we just didn't like it. I don't know, but I loved it, and I own it. I bought it immediately when it came out. So, yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. I don't know if it's on Netflix right now, but
No.
it's actually a good buy. If you find it on Amazon, it's probably super cheap. It's worth it.
Yeah. Each story is different.
Yes.
And I think that is the challenge of an anthology series, trying to tell a different story each week. That's the fucking challenge for Supernatural now,
Yeah.
trying to tell a different
Oh,
story.
my
So now it's
God.
like, we got to bring these characters back so it'll be fun. But coming up with something different, a different myth, a different legend, it's hard.
Yeah.
I appreciated the werewolf episode because it was more of a comedic episode, but still, it's like you have to do different things, and they only had 13 episodes, so it's not like anyone had a chance to get burnt out. But
Exactly.
all these other shows that go on for more than a year
That need to go.
you might like start to repeat some of the same stuff,
Yeah.
because you've just ran out of information, not information, but yeah, that was a really good show. Anna Kendrick was on there. Who else? I don't know that woman's name, but she was on that canceled DC show from when I was in college. She was in the very last episode, the witch episode, where they were surrounded by all the darkness outside.
I think I remember that. I'll have to rewatch that one.
That was like an infection episode too.
Wasn't Homegirl from Handmaiden?
She was in the first episode.
Yeah, the cop episode.
The Cajun guy.
Yeah. Okay.
That episode was really disgusting, actually.
Yeah.
When the guy was eating the pizza, I felt physically nauseous. And
Yeah.
that doesn't usually happen to me. But it was the way he was eating it. God, he was gross. Really, really good actor.
Yeah.
That wasn't even the guy, the prisoner. That was just the one of the cops, like eating the pizza. Well, won't say too much, but yeah, I was just like, God, please stop eating that. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yep, she was in there. Oh yeah, and the same guy. He was on Grimm. He was his partner.
Was that him? It was the same guy. Oh,
that was the first time I saw him, and every time I've seen him, he's played a cop. Because then after that, he was on another show. It was like a ABC Family show, and that got canceled. But he was a cop.
Nice.
He moved his family into a neighborhood, and he was trying to like fix up the house and fix up the neighborhood. And then he was on Grimm. He's a cop.
That's funny. Was it the Gates?
No, he was not on the Gates. It wasn't a supernatural show. He was just a cop.
It was just a different one. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's just always a cop.
Okay.
In any given situation. Oh man. Another one that I like, and it's not like it's that old,
Oh, that's fine.
but it's kind of disappointing how it ended. But Penny Dreadful, I did enjoy it.
Okay.
And that one was on Showtime, but I don't feel like it was super gory. There was a lot of sex.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch Penny Dreadful. I was actually going to bring that up later on shows that I need to watch, but yeah.
The first 2 seasons are fantastic, in my opinion. The 3rd season is fine, and I think that they knew they were canceled, so they had to wrap it up. But I wasn't content with the way it was wrapped up. But still, the actors involved were great. And, it's a throwback to all the Universal monsters. So that's always fun. Not all of them, but, they got a good, 3? I'd say they did. I said they did 3.
Okay.
We'll say. They got some witches in there. Very different take on witches. So
Okay.
for that alone, you should watch it. And I like.
Yeah, I
Ava
really
Green.
do. I really do want to get into Penny Dreadful one day. One show that I'll bring up next is Black Mirror. I think everyone should watch this show.
That's hit and miss for me.
It is not completely horror. It's a little bit on the sci-fi part of it because it deals with the use of technology and how it's taken over our lives. And we've talked about this show before, but one of the highlighted scary episodes I'll bring up is I may have already talked about it. It was virtual reality. This guy was on sort of a trip around the world. He was just kind of backpacking, ran out of money, has an estranged relationship with his mother, didn't want to call her for help, so he sees an ad about being a test subject for a new virtual reality game, and they strap him in, but he doesn't necessarily use glasses, I guess, if I remember correctly. They just kind of insert him with something, and it just plays on. And it is a horror-themed game, so he's in this haunted house, walking around, trying to figure out what's going on, and let me tell you, there's so many jump scares in that. It just freaked me out. But just the way that it ended made it even creepier, because we are now getting into virtual reality right now, and I tried it for the first time again, and I'm telling you, any further into that, is just mind blowing. Your mind can only take so much, and when shit gets real, your mind cannot help itself, and if it's real, it's gonna fuck you up. So
Yeah.
that was pretty trippy. But again, the stories are very well written. They're thought out. They are a test to its time. I mean, they're thinking forward here. And again, it's a British show. All of it's on Netflix right now. Watch it. It's such an amazing show. Yeah. What about you? What's another one?
Oh, so like, what about me? How do I feel about Black Mirror?
Oh.
Another one, obvious. Stranger Things. I just finished season 2.
How was season 2?
Oh my gosh.
Is it better?
And everyone keeps saying, so was it better or worse? And I'm like, it was the same for me because I loved season 1. I love season 2. Like Nick said, he was concerned. He wasn't sure how things were going to play out. He had some things that he was concerned about, but then he told me he was happy. I loved it. I think they did a fantastic job. I don't know what they're going to do for the next season, though.
Was it another cliffhanger?
Did you? Oh, you haven't
No,
finished?
I haven't watched it yet.
You want me to tell you?
No.
I mean,
don't
not
tell me.
like specifics, but do you want me to answer that question?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Kind of, but not really. Not
really?
like last
so
season.
They just kind of...
Not like last season. Like last season, it was like what happened to Will and 11.
So we found out what's Will's issue then.
How far did you get?
I only watched that one episode.
Oh,
with
really?
You. Yeah, I haven't. I have so much TV right now. The fall season, I'm like hooked on prime time until winter break. That's when I go to Netflix.
I don't accept this, Rob. I don't accept this.
No,
at all.
I have so much shit going on.
I need you to
Yeah.
watch Stranger Things.
Okay.
I mean, do we find out what Will's thing is? Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, trust me, I can watch it in a day. I'm not even worried about it. It's just I have to catch up on all this other stuff. But when they go on winter break for like 6 weeks, then I can watch all the Netflix. I can just stomach. So
Cancel my bitch, really, because I can't use it now.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people who haven't watched Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
but
You
I
probably
can't
couldn't
do
say
it. You'll hear it. I can't. So, but no, Stranger Things. I love it. I love those characters. It is definitely intense and suspenseful, and just besides all of the obvious horror stuff, I feel like this is stuff I've never really seen before. The way that, I mean, did you see it? Yeah, you saw it. So in the first episode, they show he opens the door and you see that shadow in the distance.
Yes.
I've never seen anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, the creatures are just, they could be so many different things. It's like a harken back to Alien and The Thing and all of these different monsters, but still, it's so different. The characters are so fun. The 80s throwback retro feel. Every time, it's so funny. When we watch it, the title sequence comes on and it says, after like you get to the second episode, it's like, would you like to skip? And Brandy's always like, why would we ever skip this title sequence?
Never.
Every other title sequence on Netflix, I'm like, yes, skip this 3-minute piece of shit because I need to watch the show. But Stranger Things, no. We always watch
I need
opening.
that theme song. Yes, I agree.
And this year, when like that big 2 came on, I just lost my mind. Can't wait for that 3 next year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people linking Stranger Things to The Mist now because the monsters are a little bit similar. I don't think it is, but it's just people are trying to connect.
I mean, and I can see that that's a big connection because these are creatures from another dimension. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely, absolutely. I still haven't watched The Mist. I feel like a failure in life.
Well, that's on Netflix. While I watch Stranger Things, you can be watching that too. So
I know.
Okay, so here's another one. Going a little farther back.
Oh damn! You about to take us to what?
So I've got one of my friends on this show now. It's on Hulu. So I think he's in the 4th or 5th episode. So far he likes it. Harper's Island. So this was, again, another 1-season event.
It was like 2010?
Something like that.
Yeah.
They were going to make this an anthology show and make it different every year.
Oh, I see.
But it's basically a murder mystery.
Yes.
We were set up with a huge cast.
Yeah.
One storyline, and their biggest gimmick, aside from other horror TV shows is that every episode somebody will die.
Yeah.
And this makes them different because, you know, other shows may draw out the story a little bit. You may not get any heavy character development or people, you know, dying from the show until like 3 or 4 episodes in. This one, they give you just enough to either hate or like the character, and they kill their asses. And it was just a 1-by-1 thing, which was their slogan, 1 by 1. And you were just front and center to this murder mystery. And it had a lot of, you know, different TV, you know, stars in there. And I loved it. I thought it was a great mystery. Didn't figure it out one bit till the end, which I think they obviously did on purpose. It was kind of hard to follow with so much going on. But every episode, the name, every episode title was the sound that the murder weapon makes when they die.
That was cute.
And
cute,
they
but...
pretty much thought of every death you can think of. It had a nice backstory. And right from the start, there was a wedding going on, and the wedding party was on a boat going to this specific island. Right when the boat took off, there was a death because somebody had kidnapped one of the family members, tied him under the boat, gave them sort of that air sort of tank thing so they would live underwater just until the boat was turned on and the propeller cut their head off. I mean, that's just the first 5 minutes. And the show was on CBS, which is surprising.
Yeah,
that's
probably why it didn't work out.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the wrong demographic.
It's a wrong demographic, in my opinion. It just didn't work. There were so many teen, like, actors on there, you know, known for their, you know, teen acting, and it just really didn't work. But they canceled it real quickly but decided to air the whole thing. And so we got to see everything to the end. And it's kind of gone back and forth on Netflix and Hulu, but it's currently on Hulu right now. I think if you're sick one day or, you know, during Christmas break, pop it in. It's 13 episodes. It's a nice story. I think it's fun.
Is it only 13 episodes?
It's only 13.
Are you sure?
I think so, yeah.
No, I thought it was more than that. I think it was a full thing because I just remember, like, it was, I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
But yeah, it was good, and it was bloody for the most part. Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, they only 13. Did 13.
13.
I remember so many people dying. I feel like they must have killed 2 people per episode.
There were episodes where they killed 2, possibly 3. And then when the shit hit the fan and everybody was aware that there is a killer on the loose, yeah, people were dying in rows. Like, yeah, they had a big body count for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with it.
Oh, you didn't like it? Nah.
I started watching it, and the first episode, I didn't know what they were trying to do. I mean, I knew what they were trying to do, but I was like, this feels like they're really trying to make me suspect everyone, but I was like, I just don't suspect this person. This is stupid. But then I was like, no, I want to finish. I really want to finish it, so I watched it, and like you said, some of the characters just don't have any development. The characters who last longer, yes, they have more character development, so you care about them at the end because they've been on screen for so long. But also, I didn't worry about everyone. It's one of those things where, and I think in this show's format, it would have been a service to the audience if we actually could have worried about everyone. But the lead character, I never worried about her for a second because it was all about her. Yeah. Her flashbacks, her finding out who this person was related to her past. And,
well, she was the only person I didn't suspect. So,
or they should have made her the killer. That would have been a
exactly.
good twist.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah.
I wanna recommend to you, if not to everyone who's listening, the US version of Being Human.
Oh, I loved the British version.
I need to finish the British version, but I
stopped watching it though.
Yeah, so did I. I watched it. I mean, I made it through the crossover.
No,
that's where I stopped. And
once they took away the original 3, then I was over it.
Okay. Well, The US version, I'm not going to say is better than the British, but it is a successful adaptation to me, because usually we don't know what we're doing. So this one I actually enjoyed from start to finish. And I love all of the actors and players that they got for this show. And there was tons of similarity to the British one. They followed storylines kind of to a T. But it was just done very well. They changed a couple of things, but I thought this was a really good show. And I actually cared about all those people. Being Human was on Sci-Fi, and I think it ran 4 seasons, maybe 5.
My sister would know. She loved the show.
Yeah.
She loved both of them.
Yeah, the woman who played the ghost, she was my favorite, of course. She was perfect in her quirkiness and her zest for life, even though she died. But I really enjoyed Being Human a lot. I think it's on Netflix right now. So yeah, you can probably watch that too. But yeah, just the idea of humanizing all of these literary monsters that we're used to seeing, and just diving into the mythology, but also, you know, humanizing these characters. And, you know, they're monsters, they're bad, and there's a little bit more to it than just sucking people's blood and turning into a wolf. There's more to just the simple things that happen when you're a ghost and a werewolf and a vampire, but just living together. It could have been a huge sitcom, but it still managed to be a little creepy. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
I think, and both of them are good examples of being human. See what I did there?
He said it. Look at that.
You know. But yeah, someone who's a vampire, I mean, you can relate that to just like trying to fight these urges or these addictions that you have. It's hard being a person in the world trying to just survive. So these are shows with monsters, but I think they have very human, relatable messages. You made me think of another one, even though I just mentioned it, but still.
All good.
I loved In the Flesh. It was
Yes.
also the British show. It was so good. And I don't really, you know, I don't get into the zombie genre like that. I'm not big on zombies. Like the flesh eating back from the dead. It's just not usually my thing. But this one was so different because, it's such a bizarro story. Like, oh, I know. We're going to make zombies come back from the dead. We don't know why. And then we're going to send them to rehab. Brilliant.
I know who thinks
and it's
of that.
like, that sounds so stupid, but I'm like, this is amazing. And just the way he comes out, and it's like he doesn't quite know how to be. He's so awkward, and he's like, I was dead. And it's like, oh, you have to wear this cover-up, son, so that you look like everyone else. You have to put in these contacts so you don't upset the neighbors. It was great. And then there's people who are like, no, I'm not wearing contacts. Fuck that. I'm not going to try to make people feel comfortable. I mean, I'm here. What do you want? And then they also start remembering things from when they were zombies. And then so they feel guilty because it's like, oh my God, I ate your cousin. I'm so sorry.
No, it really does sound interesting. I'll be checking that one out.
You should definitely check it out. And it's sad. There's a little like, gay romance. It's sad.
Oh, nice.
And British people are just so, sometimes they can be rough. They just say what the fuck they want. It's a very different humor, but if you can understand the lingo, then you're good to go.
Cool. No, yeah, I will be watching that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember a show called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction?
Yeah, I remember this show, and they would have like actors portray the story, and they're like, so did this really happen?
Yeah. So they would I think Jonathan Frakes was the host of the show.
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
He's on Star Trek.
Now?
Well,
he was on one of the other ones.
Yeah, one of the other ones. Yeah, way back when. God, I forget his name on the show.
Was he?
He's one of the big popular
with the
famous
beard.
ones. Yes, with the beard.
Okay, yeah, he was. Oh, that was what generation? Star Trek generation.
He was in Gargoyles. He was the voice of that evil Lex Luthor type
That's
guy.
so funny that I knew that was him.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah.
But yeah, so he would host this show where he would tell the audience 6 tales. They were very short, maybe like 5 to 10 minute short tales. And at the end of the episode, he would reveal which ones were fiction and which ones were based on true stories that happened anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of like a guessing game, sort of like a game show-ish. You know, there weren't contestants or anything on the show. It was just for our amusement. And it was kind of up to us if we believed if all these stories were true. Like, at first, they'd be like, it's fact, and then they just move on. But then, as, like, second season came on, they would start to give, oh, this happened to a woman in this city, in this date, to give us more of a belief that it was true if they had, you know, facts about where it happened and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, for my own amusement, I chose to believe it. I didn't care. But there were some very creepy moments in the show. One quick story that I will tell is this woman and her husband were looking for a new house to buy, and they were searching everywhere for one. And while they just really didn't have good luck finding, you know, their dream house, and I think that was the name of the story, every night she would have a dream about her roaming the halls of this house that she didn't know. And she never really saw anybody else, and the house was empty. She just walked through the halls, and she just had this vision of this house. Long story short, she sees this one house. I forget how she comes across it, some ad in the paper or something. And she goes to visit it, and as she's getting the tour, she's noticing that the halls and the rooms are everything that she dreamed about. So, literal dream house. She's like, I recognize all these rooms. I just feel like I know where everything is, and yada yada. And she's like, I want this house. The realtor gives her the price, and she's like, why is it so fucking cheap? Like, I don't get it. This house is amazing. And the realtor's like, well, I've had really, really hard time selling this place because people believe that it's haunted. There have been sightings of a woman in a nightgown who was roaming the halls of the house. So technically, she had an astral projection moment when she would dream. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, my God.
I remember that episode.
Yeah. So there, I mean,
but at the end of it, they said, oh, let me introduce you to the owner of the home. And she turns and said, it's you.
Oh, yes,
you're the one who's been haunting me.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But I think at the end, didn't it turn out not to be true?
It was probably fiction,
and I was like, damn it.
I know.
That one I was sure.
I know.
They did it so well.
But yeah, they had, I mean, a lot of these, like, stories were very coincidental. They were just, you know, like, you know, what's the name? Not circumstance, but serendipity and stuff like that. You know, things like that. And I actually got a kick out of it, but it had a horror element. It was mostly ghost stories, things like that. I just found the show to be very entertaining.
It was neat.
Yeah.
It reminded me, I'm not trying to be hateful, but I was just disappointed that it reminded me of Lore that I recently watched.
Oh.
Would have behooved me to read the synopsis of the series. So it's not really a horror series. It's like a documentary series.
Oh, okay.
Really interesting. But I thought it was going to be scary.
Like a horror show,
so
yeah.
half of it is like information, and then actors acting out
what's going on.
The story.
Okay.
And I was like, man, you should have just at least given us a spin at the end where it's like, this didn't really happen, but at least try to scare us. The whole first story is a guy in the 18-something. They're, what is it? They live in Exeter. There's some sort of specific religion. I can't remember. Not Quakers, but something like that. And this guy's whole family is wiped out by consumption. Ooh. And then like his wife and then his eldest daughter and then his son gets sick, so he sends his son and daughter-in-law away to Colorado and he gets better. But while he's gone, the youngest sister dies. So as soon as he comes home, he starts to get sick again. And then somebody comes and says, look, same thing happened to me. My whole family died until I was able to save my last child, because basically one of the others had a demon in them and was coming back to kill all the family.
Oh, man.
So they thought that there was a demon living in the heart of one of the family members, and so he finally gets talked into unearthing his wife and his 2 daughters. The other 2, the wife and the daughter, have decomposed. The most recent daughter, who's been buried for a few months, has not decomposed yet. And the doctor's saying, like, she was put in a storage shed for winter. She was frozen. That's why she still looks like she's in pristine condition. But then they take it out and they see, like, there's still like some blood in there. Like, it's her blood. It's fine. But they take her heart out and they make a tonic. Like, they burn it and then make tonic from the ash, and the son drinks it. And he's supposed to get better. He doesn't.
Oh.
So I was like, man, they should have had that spin where it was like she was a vampire. And that's what like brought about the folklore of the vampire in America, the first American vampire.
Oh, okay. So they're kind of digging deep into
So
all
they're digging
these
deep.
urban legends
It's really
and stuff.
cool historical stuff. I love all of that. But I was just not ready for education. I thought I was going to like get scared.
Get some scares. Yeah, no, I hear you.
But it's short. It's only 4 episodes. So,
Okay.
if you want to learn some shit.
All right.
Do
Amazon Prime, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Amazon
never
Prime.
mind.
No, it's okay. But I mean, for those interested,
If you have Amazon Prime, check it out. It's interesting.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring up Santa Clarita Diet. I
So
love
silly.
this show so much.
I love the 2 leads. I think I hate the daughter. She's
Annoying, huh?
She's just not a great
The
character.
neighbor kid though is a riot. I love him. But yeah, the 2 leads are perfect for each other. They just work so well together. And I love Timothy in a comedic role. He's just killing it right now. And
He can do no wrong.
yes, the show did get greenlit for a second season, so we will see it back. I haven't heard any news about second season at all, but it's on the gross factor. I think they nailed it really well for a half-hour comedic show. I think they have a lot of like gore that I didn't really expect to be in there. But it's clever. I think for
it's
a
along the
zombie
lines
show.
of like In the Flesh,
Yeah.
sort of. But yeah, it's different.
Yeah, so thank God, because Drew was scaring me a little bit with some of her movie choices, but I'm glad she's got a successful show now. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm really happy about that. But yeah, love Santa Clarita Diet. I would check that out. It's on Netflix as well. There's also, the obvious Tales from the Crypt. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I mean, what a show. It lasted, 9 seasons, 9 seasons, I think? Or maybe even 7. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it might have been 7.
I mean, the show basically just talked about everything in the book. Like, any scenario you can think of. And just about any A-lister was in this show, too. So, yeah, great show. We're going to definitely talk about it on a separate episode because it's just that good.
There's nothing else like it.
Exactly. So, love that show.
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. And then the last show that I'll bring up is Blood Drive. Blood Drive is probably one of the latest horror shows that I watched. It's not necessarily scary, but if you want to see something completely disgusting, sort of towards that R-rated sort of horror thing,
I don't.
like Ash versus Evil Dead, stuff like that, this show is a lot of fun. It's like Death Race, and it just involves 2 people who have to, win the race or they'll die because every contestant has a bomb in their head. And it's sort of like a exploitation on I forget which sort of era it was in, but just those old school, like, you know how like Grindhouse was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just sort of in that sort of vein. It's completely silly and, graphic. Every curse word in the book is spoken in it. It's just a really fun show. It was on Sci-Fi. I don't know if it's getting a second season because they did close it up. It felt like an event instead of a series. They brought it back. Oh, I'll welcome it. But it is one of those shows that push the boundary. I've never seen anything this graphic before on TV, especially for Sci-Fi. So I was pretty happy about it, but I would definitely check it out. And so Blood Drive.
Yeah, it definitely looked like Grindhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good imagery.
Yeah. So real quickly, the shows that aren't mentioned, of course, I'm sure there's tons of shows out there that are super good. Ones that I will say that I really do need to watch that are on my radar is Penny Dreadful. Hemlock Grove, I really want to watch that. Hannibal, and also Slasher. Slasher is a Netflix original horror series. I think it's on its second season right now.
What?
What? You know what Slasher is?
Yeah, I know what Slasher is.
It's not what? It's not Netflix original?
The guy with like the big Black Hood?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was a Netflix original.
Oh, it's not?
No, it was on a show. I am surprised that they got a second season.
Oh, yeah, it's currently on second season right now.
I wasn't thrilled.
Oh, I thought it was Netflix original. Oh, anyways, but yeah, that's on Netflix right now that I do want to watch too. So those are ones that I would like to watch in the future. So
Do Stranger Things first.
of course.
Just saying. Okay. Well, you just gave me a thought. But they're both spoilers. I don't want to spoil Stranger Things for you. But there is a spoiler from the show you just mentioned, Slasher.
Okay.
It's for my bitch really.
Oh, okay. You're doing bitch really right now. Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so you're gonna know about one character that doesn't make it.
That's fine.
I don't remember this character's name, but she's a reporter. You know, reporters got to get that scoop. And it's kind of cool because she does end up talking to the masked killer face to face by herself. And she does an interview. She records it. The person allows this to happen. But he does ask her, you know, have you ever committed any sins? And she says no. But then come to find out she did. And he finds out, I don't know how he finds out. But shit, bitch. Like, don't tell people, okay? Someone's going around killing people because of sins they've committed in the past. Nobody knew this. You could have been scot-free on primetime TV. She's about to go be on primetime. And she had to tell someone out loud, in public, what she did. Bitch. I don't feel sorry for you.
So it was because she felt compelled to be honest about her
No,
back.
it wasn't even that she felt compelled. She was just, it was like more of a braggy thing.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay.
So, I mean, she got. In a pretty bad way. Like, ugh.
So don't be prideful is what you're saying. Just keep things to yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
when
you know,
there's a killer out there.
Don't do shitty things in the first place, but if you do it and someone's targeting people who have, you know, slipped up, just keep your mouth shut until the smoke clears. I mean, why? God. You almost got away with it.
Well, hopefully I'll forget what you just said when I start to watch it. It won't be for a very long time, but no, that's not a spoiler. Don't worry about that. I'm sure she's one of many people who die, so I'm not even tripping. But okay, so that was from Slasher. Interesting. Okay. So before we close out real quickly, is there a horror theme out there aside from Stranger Things that you absolutely love? That you would not skip?
Oh, that I would not skip?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so when I used to watch all these shows, it wasn't really an option. You could kind of fast forward, but it would be really tricky. I really did enjoy the Buffy opener.
Okay.
Especially each season, it would change. You know, like they would add different clips from the previous season.
Yes.
And end on her, like, her power stance. Yeah. Whatever. So, yeah, I did like that one. But I would still skip over all of them. It's just that extra, like, 60 seconds I gotta get past, man. The Stranger Things, there's just something about it. Good question, though. Good question.
Fair enough. I obviously love Tales from the Crypt theme song. Danny Elfman is a wizard in music. I love him. Mm-hmm. But one that popped in my head first is True Blood. I love that song. They do play it long, but I just love that song. Bad Things, I think it's called.
I hate that opener because it is 3 fucking minutes long. I just need to get to the show. Oh, it's so long.
I love it. I never skip it. I never, ever skip it. It just gets me all, like, in the mood. I'm about to watch some crazy shit. So, it just, yeah. I love that theme song.
I will say I do enjoy Tales from the Crypt, though. It's not that long, and it's just it's like a ride. You're like on this ride going into the attraction. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't mind that one. That one's good.
Cool. All right. Well, we just talked about a lot of TV shows that we actually do like, and I'm sure there are more, of course, but this won't be the last time we talk about TV. There's a lot of horror stuff coming out on TV very soon. I'm sure miniseries will be coming out.
There's a lot of other stuff
Yeah.
announced, but I was like, I'm not even going to read this because next week they could decide, you know what?
We're going to cancel. I know they
We
do that all the
changed our
time.
mind. We're not going to put this
But
in production at all.
Scream 3, I look forward to that.
Oh, right,
That's
yeah.
coming out soon. And yeah, so we'll see how these others play out.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thank you all once again for listening to our show. We've made it to episode 30.
Jesus.
I know. And next week, we start off in December. We're going to close out the year
Strong.
strong. And yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
All right.
It's going to be a crazy month. Catch
All
you
right.
next time, guys. On Bitch I Ain't Scared.